I never imagined that one day a single conversation would make me question everything I thought I knew about my marriage. It started on a rainy Thursday afternoon, the kind of day when the clouds seem heavy enough to press down on your shoulders. The house was quiet, too quiet. My husband had gone out early that morning, claiming he had an urgent meeting. Our stepson, Ethan, was supposed to be upstairs doing his homework, but when I walked past the staircase, I noticed his bedroom door was slightly ajar, and he was sitting on the floor, his knees drawn to his chest, staring at something in his hands. His eyes flicked up at me, wide, almost guilty, and in that moment, something in my gut told me whatever was about to happen would change everything. "Are you okay?" I asked, keeping my voice gentle. He hesitated, then said something that would echo in my mind for days. "I think you need to know what Dad's been doing." It was a Thursday, the day he usually worked late. But that evening, I saw him leave the office earlier than expected. No tie, no jacket, just his shirt sleeves rolled up like he was heading somewhere casual. I stayed far enough behind that my headlights wouldn't give me away. The city lights thinned as we left downtown, replaced by dark stretches of road, flanked by warehouses and silent parking lots. Finally, he turned down an alley that dead-ended near an old shipping dock. The place was quiet, except for the low hum of distant traffic and the faint clang of metal from somewhere deeper inside. I parked 2 blocks away and approached on foot, keeping to the shadows. My breath came in short bursts, each one clouding in the cool night air. From behind a stack of wooden pallets, I saw him. He wasn't alone. He stood with 2 other men, their faces half hidden in the dim light. One of them handed him a duffel bag, and though I couldn't see inside, I could hear the metallic clink of something heavy shifting within. He glanced around once, and for a split second, I thought his gaze swept over where I hid. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might give me away. But then, just as quickly, he turned back, said something I couldn't hear, and walked toward his car. The moment he drove off, I stepped out from my hiding place, my legs shaking. I had no idea what I had just witnessed, but deep down, I knew it wasn't something innocent. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the docks, the duffel bag, and his face when he thought he'd heard something in the dark. Morning, I decided to test him. Not a full confrontation, just questions. The kind that sounded innocent, but had edges sharp enough to cut. Over breakfast, I kept my tone casual. "How was work last night?" He didn't look up from his coffee. "Long, just paperwork. You know how it is." "Did you see anyone after?" A pause, so slight I might have missed it if I weren't watching for it. "No." Came straight home. I let the silence hang, then smiled as if nothing was wrong. "Funny. I thought I saw your car near the docks yesterday." Dot. He finally looked up. "The docks?" His tone was light, but his eyes were searching me. "You must have been mistaken. I haven't been there in years." Later that day, Ethan found me in the kitchen. "He's been acting weird," he whispered, glancing toward the living room where his father sat scrolling through his phone. That night, I heard him on the phone in his study. The door was cracked just enough for his voice to carry. "She's asking questions. No, she doesn't know. Not yet. And Friday. Same place. Friday. I didn't know what he meant by clean, but I knew this was my chance. Friday felt like a storm brewing. All day, the air seemed heavy, the kind that makes you glance at the sky, expecting thunder. But the storm I was bracing for wasn't in the clouds. It was in my own home. I left for work, as usual, but my mind was already making a checklist. Full tank of gas, phone fully charged, notebook in my bag to jot details before they blurred. I even wore sneakers instead of heels, a small choice, but one that made me feel like I could run if I had to. That evening, I watched from the kitchen window as he left the house. No kiss goodbye, no casual wave, just straight to the car, engine roaring to life. I waited 2 minutes before following. He drove the same route as before, weaving through side streets like he was avoiding traffic or avoiding being followed. By the time we hit the outskirts of the city, I knew exactly where he was going. The docks. I parked 2 blocks away. The sound of water slapping against the pier, carried by the wind. The shadows seemed deeper tonight, the air colder. From behind a stack of pallets, I saw him approach the same group of men. This time, there was no duffel bag waiting for him. Instead, one of the men handed him a slim folder. I couldn't see what was inside, but I caught a glimpse of a photograph in the top corner. A woman's face, not mine, not anyone I recognized. They spoke in low voices, but the wind carried a few phrases my way. She won't be a problem. Just make sure she believes it. Dot. The conversation ended with a firm handshake, and my husband walked back toward his car. That's when I realized his route back would take him right past where I was hiding. I pressed myself against the pallets, willing my heartbeat to quiet. His footsteps grew louder, steady, deliberate. For a terrifying moment, they stopped. I could hear him breathing. It was so close I could almost feel it. Then a shout from one of the men broke the tension, and he turned away, heading for his car. I didn't move until his engine faded into the distance. I drove home in silence, the streetlights flashing across my windshield like slow blinks. My hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than I realized, the image of that photograph earning in my mind. When I walked in, Ethan was still awake on the couch, pretending to watch TV. He looked up, his eyes searching mine, as if he already knew I'd seen something I shouldn't have. "Mom?" His voice cracked slightly. "Everything's fine," I lied, forcing a smile. But even as I said it, I knew the words tasted wrong. That night, I hid the notebook under my bed and set an alarm for 4 a.m. If he was going to meet them again, I would be ready. But this time, I wouldn't just watch. The alarm dragged me out of sleep, and I slipped out of bed without waking Ethan. The house was still, heavy with the kind of silence that makes you wonder if something's listening. I reached the docks before him this time, hiding in a place where I could see everything without being seen. The water was black, swallowing the moonlight. When his car pulled up, my breath hitched. He stepped out, alone, carrying the same folder. But this time, there was someone waiting, a woman. They spoke quietly, but when she glanced over his shoulder, her eyes locked on mine. I froze. She smiled, Not friendly, not warm, but like she'd just found something she'd been hunting. My husband turned to see what she was looking at, but I was already gone, melting into the shadows and running toward my car. I didn't stop driving until I was miles away, the city shrinking in my rearview mirror. The truth was bigger than I thought. And now, they knew I knew. I gripped the wheel tighter, the weight of that smile still heavy on me. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, I knew one thing for sure. The next time we met, I wouldn't be hiding.